I've been sent another clip on the Gypsy King. We're going to keep further and explore this. I got a clip from what looks to be Raf's technical breakdown. So the video is a little extensive, a little bit, but we're going to go through it. We're going to watch the whole thing. Raf's going to come in and he's basically going to break down all the gifts and favoritism and all this stuff that Tyson Fury has been getting while in the boxing world. And I thought it was a good opportunity to touch on some other things that's not touched on in this video, but has been touched on this channel quite frequently, just to keep it consistent, just to keep it accurate, and just to show you that we always on the right track. It just takes a while for people to catch up to us, but eventually, you know, everything that we say, everything that we talk about, you see it play out in front of your eyes. So we finna play the clip. Keep in mind, it's kind of long. I will be back at the end.
Fury should have arguably been stopped against Usyk in that first fight, and then against Ngannou he wasn't penalised for that illegal elbow. And in the Deontay Wilder trilogy he had a very slow count that wasn't 10 seconds, but in the first example against Usyk you can see that after Usyk lands that left hand, the only thing keeping Tyson Fury up was the ropes, and you can see how far back set on them he is as well. And once he's upright he hasn't fully regained his posture and he hasn't got his base under him, so he wilts sideways and Usyk tags him with shots. And so Fury tries clinching Usyk, holding down on the back of his neck, but he's unable to get a hold of him, and you can see he turns his back on him, not really knowing where he is. And ultimately Tyson Fury then stumbles backwards into the ropes, and he actually makes contact with the ropes themselves before Usyk lands this follow-up right hand. And Fury would be kept upright or fall into the ropes 5 times in this knockdown sequence, and there are grounds to stop this fight, which probably would have happened if this wasn't for the undisputed heavyweight championship. And it wasn't just a case of Fury falling back into the ropes or being kept upright by them, but his legs are crossing as well, and when the feet cross over like that, a fighter hasn't got their balance under them at all. And Usyk was continually teeing off on Tyson Fury to the point where he kept falling back into the ropes, and the referee didn't intervene. And on this occasion you'll notice that when Fury gets knocked back into the ropes, his body leans over them as well, so half of his upper body is out of the ring. And then as he regains his posture, Usyk lands a massive left hand, and this is ultimately what scored the knockdown. You can see it sends Fury backwards, and ultimately he falls into the corner ropes where his legs betray him, and the referee gets in between them so Usyk can't land another shot. And this sort of posture would normally lead to a fight being stopped. Now against Francis Ngannou you can see that Fury throws a throwaway hook to begin with, but watch the angle at which he throws that right hand. It's going downwards, and that's because he's intending to throw an elbow behind it. Now Ngannou swallowed this elbow flush, but it went unpenalized by the referee, and it wasn't docked a point either. And then the third example of recent big fights where Fury has arguably been protected by the referee would be the Deontay Wilder trilogy. Now Wilder knocks him down here in the 4th round, and the count's at 5 with 45 seconds to spare, and then with 42 seconds to spare it's at 8, which would indicate a fair counting speed, 1 second per count given. But then moments later in that same round, Deontay Wilder drops Tyson Fury once more, and then the counting speed changes, and Fury does rise to his feet, but as you're about to see with the timer on the screen and what the referee is counting, with 5 seconds left to go of the round, the referee's count is at 6. And then 2 seconds later the referee's count is at 7. The pace of the referee's counting is slower in that second knockdown, and then as Tyson Fury climbs to his feet, the referee asks him to lift his gloves up. And at the second time of asking, Tyson Fury then obliges, and he lifts both of his gloves aloft to the referee to indicate he can continue. But there's very little time in the round left for them to re-engage, and so by the time the referee says both of you can recommence boxing, immediately afterwards there isn't enough time left in the round, and so the referee gets between them again, and ultimately those few seconds buy Tyson Fury a lot of time, which can potentially make the difference in fights as big as this. And so these examples in recent fights have led some to criticize whether Fury has benefited from lenient refereeing in recent big fights.
The interesting thing about this video is as great as a breakdown that was, none of this stuff was brought up. None of this stuff was talked about. None of this stuff was circulated. None of these conversations was had prior to him losing. Because the interesting thing is, people have been saying these things in this video. Certain people have been saying these things about Tyson Fury in this video the entire damn time. You want to know what the boxing world did? Y'all shot it down. Y'all didn't entertain it. And that's when I discovered that as long as things are aimed towards certain people, people turn a blind eye to the truth of things. I'm not going to turn a blind eye to nothing, even if it's done towards somebody that I do not like. I'm never down with anybody being cheated in no type of fashion. Now, out of all the things that got broke down, you want to know one thing that they missed? Tyson Fury's glove. See, nobody wants to talk about that, you know? And it's funny, the conversation about his gloves was never looked at how it's supposed to be looked at until I pointed out on this channel that Tyson Fury will be fighting Alexander Usyk with the same gloves that was floppy, that people say cheating was going on and his fist was shoved down and all that stuff. I said, Tyson Fury is going to be fighting Alexander Usyk with those same gloves that he fought Deontay Wilder in, that a lot of people of the boxing world said was normal for it to be flapping like that. And I challenged him and I said, let's see if you'll remain quiet when that glove start flapping in the fight with Usyk. That's when I seen a different response from people. That's when I seen people acknowledge that there was cheating going on. That's when I seen people acknowledge that something was wrong with that glove. Till then, nobody wanted to talk about it, you know? And then once the fight happened, I asked some people once again, haven't you noticed that Tyson Fury fought Deontay Wilder in the exact same gloves that he fought Usyk with, and there was none of that flopping going on that y'all said was normal? You notice we didn't see none of that floppy glove stuff going on? Of course, people had nothing to say. So even with as great as Raf's technical breakdown is, of course that's not on there, because that's a side that people still don't refuse to acknowledge because it was done to Deontay Wilder. Can we just be honest? I've also done a video on it. It's part of the Rising Gloves final chapter. I'll leave the link in the description box. Very good show. All 3 episodes with him and Wilder's are freaking classics. If you didn't catch it, you should be able to catch this one on here. If not, I'll unlock it so you could see it. You know, but after watching that video, it's no denying it. But the point is, nobody could see none of this stuff about Tyson Fury prior to his loss. That's all that I wanted to bring up. Everything that he said was right. Everybody know about Fury's long counts. Okay? Nicholas Asbury talked about them taking the stuffing out of the gloves and in sparring, and Ben Davison even admit that was going on. You guys turn a blind eye. Everybody seen the elbows. We all seen him push Dylan White. Okay? We all seen the long counts. We've all seen the floppy gloves. We've all seen referee checking his gloves. We know about the wild boar meat. We know about all of this. So the question is, has Tyson Fury been benefiting off whatever you want to say he's been benefiting off of in boxing, whatever you want to charge it to? The answer is 110% yes. And do you think Tyson Fury is the only one, is what I'm saying. But this is the guy with all these flaws, with all this cheating going on, with all this floppy glove, with all this drugs, with all this long counts, with all these elbows, with all this throwing the towel over the fucking camera. With all that, nobody wanted to acknowledge it. Y'all still push him to Ali levels with all this crap in the background. Okay? And it only took for Usyk beating him for people to even lighten up on that and say, yeah, you know, we were wrong about that. I'm just using this as an opportunity for boxing to observe itself.